Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. I have here all the different decks. This is an introduction to the readings. I'm using 4 different decks, and so I'm here to tell you that I'll be doing the mixing off camera for 3 of the decks, laying the spread as you see, and then when I'm with you, I will mix the Vera Sibilla cards and clarify with you. And then I'll be using my runes, and this month I'll be using tiger eyes runes because the contrast is a little easier to see. And of course, as I say that, you cannot see that. Okay. Now, the decks I'll be using is my picture postcards. For a few, I'll take a few of those. Then I'll be using the Happy Tarot, which is a delightful deck. The Happy Tarot. And then I'll be using the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. Take 1 card from there. And of course, then Vera Sibilla. This time I'll be using the Vera Sibilla that is a very rare deck, very rare. And I use it sparingly because I can't find a replacement. All right, so on to our readings. Thank you, old and new subscribers. Thank you for your support. Bye-bye. Hi, Capricorn. It's your turn. I have your spread out here. Let me show you the cards. The first is Paul Cézanne's Jug and Fruit. There's a little glare there. Jug and Fruit by Cézanne. Then I have the Star from the Happy Tarot. Then the 8 of Pentacles. Then I have Olofi Santeria, a 2, and this is an earth sign. So this is you. I see this as being you, male or female. And this is the picture. This is a representation of a woman who is pregnant, who is suspended in space. It's the earth that forms and swells within her belly. There are spirits that swirl around her, and the planets seem to have gathered to watch, you know, and pay respect to the act of her giving birth. Now, this is very connected to the spirit of creation, and it is interesting that it's represented by a star mother. She is known as the star mother, and there is the star. There is here in this meaning the change that brings stability. All right, so let's bear that in mind. And then we have Paul Signac's, this is Impressionist, Study at the Seine, the River Seine. Now, what's interesting here for me is that there is the underlying notion of change here, and that's fine. But there's also the underlying sense of impermanence, not things that are not fully defined. But there is still the idea for you, Capricorn, that you will be going toward stability in change. And I'll tell you why, because of the timing that these tarot cards tell us. Let's see what your incoming card. Your incoming card is a question that you ask yourself. How much more can I stand being suspended in space without taking action? Is it possible for me to stay doing what I'm doing? You're slowly dying inside. Okay, you're slowly dying inside. You are in urgent need of a change. Now, the action that you decide to take, and this is the Star here. The Star is an Aquarius card. We know that the Aquarius card is February 21st to March 20th. So we're going into the beginning of the springtime, and there is going to be a reply to that. How much longer then can I stay put? How much longer? When am I going to go back into the stability of change? And it is going to be around the spring. Then we have the environment, your mental attitude, your perspective in the month of July, with this Eight of Pentacles, which is the Sun in Virgo. Now, what does this tell me? We have the Virgo period, which is August 21st to September 20th, when you get a drive forward to make a move, when you start making a plan to put money away. This is an example for a much wanted move. When you start actually making plans, putting in action a major plan, selling your car to go, it's starting in the August period, late August, early September. And the emotions that characterize you the month of July is the emotion linked to the idea that change brings stability for you in this current state of mind in July. The element of change, even though, and it's clear here, even though it's not better defined, is there. And you're not interested in having something that's clearer, more defined. You're interested that it is moving, it is developing, it is happening for you. Let me take these VERA SIBILLA cards to see what they have to add. Okay. So for our incoming card, we have Superbia, vanity and pride. We've got Alegria, happiness, and Sospiri, sighing, expectation, this lengthy waiting, a tormented waiting. Okay, now, and this falls in line with the notion. You remember that the peacock has, or the feathers of the peacock has the eyes of the sky in each peacock feather, and you have a bit of that that in your soul, and this is what you come away with. It is, yes, okay, this is Superbia, it does mean pride and it does mean vanity, but it also means far greater. It has a divine meaning, and the divine meaning for you in the month of July is the fact that there is something more. There's something more. You know, your spirit knows that there's something more for you. And you really do not want set plans. You do not want guarantees. You do not want contracts. You want a space, a free space where you can go. Then I have here Alegria, happiness, and Sospiri. Now the Sospiri here is that long-awaited period and sighing, right? This is, we said that the star was the Aquarius period, and that is the action that you're going to take. It's going to happen then, and it always seems too far in the future for you. Let me see. Let's take a few more cards here. Over the Eight of Pentacles, which is the Sun in Virgo. Let's see. We've got here Artista, the artist. We have Sponsali, the engagement. And we have Donna di Servizio, the housemaid, which is, excuse me, which is also a gift, our gifts. Now, of course, our dreams just never stop, and you're not immune to dreaming, but there is the notion that when the delay seems too far out, that's when you're going to start moving. For example, I'll give you an example. You're deciding that you want to change cities. You're moving from Maine, let's say, to Texas. And you want to plan your course of action. You want to get excited. You want to start writing to people, get to know people, associations, cultural studies, some things of your interest. And you start writing to these places and start making communicating with people to get to know what it's like there. This will draw you in. Okay, the same goes for signing up, putting in a profile for a meetup with someone, so you get to know locals there before you go, to get you excited to go. And this is what you do, and it starts in August, that activity. Let me take some cards over Olofi, the pregnant woman suspended in space. Change that brings stability. Okay, we have here Bambino, the child, the beginning, Ladro, that speaks to negative change, and Deliranti, deliriousness. We have an issue here, and you're feeling it already in July. If I'm not able to create, if I am not able to begin something new, I literally will go out of my mind. And so you're going to have this mantra, change that brings stability. Change will bring me stability. And keep that in mind so you don't modify your plans. Okay, the outgoing card, fedeltà, fidelity, viaggio, trip, movement, and nemico. Enemy could be a female enemy, a rival. I don't see it as being a rival. I see it as being having a tinge of fear with respect to your plans and future. Even though you are faithful to the quest, you're faithful to the project of change, you have a bit of fear. Will I be able to make it? Will I have enough money? Is it possible for me to do this without planning? I'm no longer young as I used to be, for example, if you're not. I have, my subscribers range from 18 to 90, so there's a mixed bunch here, and that's one example. Or you can say, I've been living at my parents' home and I just can't afford to break away. There'll be that tinge of fear, and that will condition you. Interesting, this. Let's take the runes to see what they can add. This is something, I have Fehu Merkstave. This is something here, these plans, this idea, this notion that will not, at least in the beginning, bring you any abundance. And it may even take a toll on your finances. That and you know that you will, this is Aljit's Merkstave, you know that you are without a net. This is a risk. And there's Pedro Merkstave, you know that that you don't know. You don't see, you don't have enough information to know how this change will affect you, but you are in dire need of the change. There is here one telling rune, the weird. Weird is the nameless, faceless rune, and it talks about you being very, very headstrong, very, very headstrong, and it's that ultimately that will drive you forward into reaching your plans, and you take the responsibilities for the how they develop, positively or negatively. You will accept those responsibilities. You always have. But one thing is certain, that you need to create. I have here you need to come back into your own, the pregnant woman in space, suspended. What is suspension? Suspension is lightness. You need to feel that lightness, something that you're not feeling of late. But there is a but. There's a Yera that beats time, and the beating of time tells you that you need to take time. If you need an extra month or 2 extra months to enact the change that you so much want, take that time. I did say that Pedro was Merkstave here, and similarly, Kinats is Merkstave, and that does tell you very clearly you don't have a net. This is a risk. This is a risk. But I have 3 other runes here to talk about. One is Hagal Hagalas, and this tells you without any shadow of a doubt that your change, your so much wanted change, is a rite of passage. This is something that karmically you have to go through. now and in the next year until spring. It also tells me that you don't go it alone. Even if you feel like you're doing everything alone, it counsels you, the rune of Gifu, to accept help from someone. Have a give and take with someone. Plan it so there will be someone who you can exchange anything with, who will help you and you can help them. It's fundamental. Ultimately here I have tier, and tier points to your personal success in enacting change that will bring you stability. Capricorn, I hope this was of help to you. Very, very clear reading, very, very well developed in the spread, very clear for me. I thank you, all my diehard subscribers, for your support. I really appreciate it, and thank you for subscribing, all my new subscribers. Welcome to this this channel. Until we read together again. Bye bye, Capricorn. Also, those of you who want a private reading, please go to my website, www.christellemartinette.com, and you'll find under readings, there'll be a page there explaining everything, or just write to me, readings@christellemartinette.com. Bye-bye.